Hi, it's Rich Hoffman here. I really like Palmer Luckey, the Anduril founder, co-founder, the company that's just announced that they're going to invest $1 billion into a new manufacturing facility for thousands and thousands of employees in Ohio. Very big complex, just south of Columbus, out there by the Washington Courthouse area. Very large span of land that's going to build these they're autonomous drones for a new kind of warfare that is hot on the ticket for concern. There's a timeline, 2027, where a lot of the globalist forces that have been lining up to capitalize off America's demise are going to be very upset. Trump's going to turn things around with the incoming administration. And while everybody's shaking hands and being very polite right now and wanting to be close to see if they can make a deal and bring Trump into their fold, clearly they're not going to be able to, and they're not going to just throw away their long-laid plans. So there are hostilities that are quite urgent out there, and traditional warfare is what the rest of the world is prepared for. So you have to have a different approach to how you conduct that kind of business. And Palmer Luckey has been on the cutting edge of this kind of stuff for many years. And I like him. He's a very interesting young man, homeschooled young man, was thinking about college and community colleges when he was only 14 years old. He went out and became part of the whole Facebook deal when they bought up his technology for Oculus. So when your kid wants an Oculus, it was Palmer Luckey who invented the first VR platform out there, way before PlayStation did it. He did it. Facebook bought him, and the rest was history. But because he was a big-time Trump supporter, they kind of pushed him out of Silicon Valley. You see a pattern, whether it's J.D. Vance, whether it's Vivek Ramaswamy, or Palmer Luckey. You're seeing some of these younger people in their 20s and 30s who are way outside the box, highly intelligent, and the system didn't accommodate them as it traditionally was, moving into these industries. And now this Palmer Luckey is a billionaire, has done very well for himself, and now he's created this defense contract company that's going to think way outside the box. And a lot of people are shocked by the things he said about the time frame, because he wants to be in this new Ohio facility. He wants to be putting out he wants to be putting out aircraft, drone craft, very quickly by 2026, and it's 2025. So you're going to build this giant campus that's as long as 90 football fields, and you think that's all going to happen so fast? And people in the defense industry are looking at him like he's lost his mind, and they just don't understand. But I think I do understand. I think I get what Palmer Luckey's up to, and the people at this company are trying to achieve, and how they're going to attack it. Because in a lot of ways, this is why I've been talking so much about Elon Musk and being a disruptor to space, and what SpaceX is doing for space flight. Palmer Luckey and the guys and the people that are in part of this whole exchange are doing the same thing to the defense industry. So what's well known is there's kind of a scam that nobody likes to talk about, and it works because everything stays confined within the system, and it's what you call cost plus companies, cost plus industry. And it's kind of this little game that everybody in the business knows is part of the deal, because schedules really don't matter. They because war really hasn't been a priority. You prepare for war, so schedule fulfillment and cost plus companies, and that's typically who's involved in the defense industry. That's who's been part of the space industry. The cost plus companies sort of rule like trolls under a bridge, and they control schedules, and they drag out with delays. They use compliance to jack up costs, and then they wait for the next administration to come in, or if it's state legislature or federal legislature, they always go back and they lobby for more money. They send their lobbyists to Washington, go work K Street, and jack up all the costs and get more budget allocation. They throw more money at all these cost plus companies to get their thing, and they hold the thing hostage because they just delay schedules until you just pay, and then you overpay for everything. And what Trump kind of started in between 2016 and 2020 was a pushback. You know, he always tells a story about how he renegotiated with Boeing what the new Air Force One planes would be like and how the cost structure would work. And he's pushing them to negotiate costs down, and that's not what they are used to. They're used to cost plus. We'll go build it for a really high amount of money because we have all this huge labor union concerns to deal with, and we throw money at them to begin to come to work, and then they delay schedule until you pay them more money, and that's kind of the game. And anytime you work in cost plus structures, you find that from the supply chain all up and down, they all know the game, and that is delay, pad schedules. And if you want your thing eventually, you just keep paying, and we'll eventually give it to you after you pay your extortion. It's like terrorists holding hostages and forcing you to pay ransom for their release. If you want your thing, you want your new material, you'll pay extraordinary amounts of money, way over cost to get it. And of course, politicians not knowing any better will go out and allocate more budget money from taxpayers to give it to these cost plus companies to do basic stuff. And eventually you get your thing, and everybody has an air show, and they talk about how great our military is because we have all these cool toys. But it costs a huge amount of money to get them, and everybody involved in the business plays the cost plus game, which is eventually using schedule to drive up costs so that you can get things way out of proportion what they usually should cost. And then you get these people, these innovators who are part of the tech industry who move into these fields, like Palmer Luckey or Elon Musk, and they look at cost plus structure, and they say, we're not going to play that game. And so they they self-innovate and develop on their own, and they stay out of the cost plus structure, and then they vertically integrate within their own industries, which is what you see going on with this big plant they want to build in Ohio. They know they're going to have problems in a cost plus structure, and so you don't go to all the same cost plus suppliers. You just do your own thing by vertical integration, and you can self-fulfill your own schedule needs. And in that way, you can avoid all the delays, which is why everybody's shocked that Palmer Luckey says that they're going to be up and running by 2026 and ready to shift off battlefield assets by 2027 when they're really going to be needed by the time that China realizes that they're not going to be able to manipulate their way into their control over the world as they've had it. And hostile activities are going to begin to emerge, and you're going to need to have some aggressive action. You don't necessarily want to play warfare the way you have it in the past because they're prepared for that. You got to try something different. And that's why this drone fighting is going to be so important, because when you can have drones that fly around like fighter jets and can do the work remotely on multiple fronts, you'll have a tactical advantage over your opponents, because believe it or not, we have opponents, big time opponents. So I'm very proud that these guys are coming to Ohio. I would tell you from inside knowledge that there's a lot more of that coming. One of the reasons they came here is because of the Intel plant that they're building north of Columbus. Now this is going to be south of Columbus, and a lot of people are wondering how are you going to have all these technological people can fill all these tech jobs in Ohio. Well, there's going to be a lot more of that stuff coming to Ohio, because Ohio, the infrastructure has been laid in the background. Probably saw the press conference from John Husted and DeWine talking about risk and how great it is to be part of the business structure. Well, I can just tell you in the background, especially since the COVID days, there's been a lot of good work done by everybody to try and bring business back into Ohio. And I think that Ohio is going to be the new Silicon Valley of the world as far as tech industry goes. And these guys, the Andurils, led by Palmer, Luckey, and many others that are coming, the Intel plant that's coming in to make our own chips here instead of having to rely on Taiwan for everything. there's a lot of good activity that's coming about, emerging out of this infrastructure that's been laid by politics in the background that is now being utilized fully. And this Anduril plant is just one of many coming. But it's important in its own way for the fulfillment that's going to fill within the Trump administration, American defense as a whole, and how this model of cost plus structures is falling apart right in front of everybody's faces, like we always knew it would. And it's going to takes younger people who are thinking outside the box. Again, Palmer Luckey was a homeschooled person, so he's thinking outside the box anyway. But that's what it takes to fight this modern warfare. And the Trump economy that is going to emerge, the old cost plus structures just aren't going to thrive because they've been been holding us all back. And you're going to have all these upstarts that are going to be jumping out in front of everybody else, like SpaceX, on many frontiers. And that's going to be the way the rules are going to be redefined. And if you want to know how that looks, you just go look at these guys at Anduril and what they're going to do and how and why they brought this to Ohio, and the kind of structure and relationship with politicians that it takes to make it happen. I can tell you in the background, the groundwork has been made and laid so Ohio can be the tech innovators of the world, and that's going to go on for a long time because the commitment has been long established, and this is just the beginning of it. And so you don't have to fight. I can tell you that people go work for people like Palmer Luckey and the Intel plant. They'll come in from all over the world to want to work at these places. It's not going to be an issue to fight over the same employees. They're going to have plenty of employees that want to work for an innovative tech company, and believe me, it's not going to be difficult to staff 4,000 people or 6,000 people or 10,000 people and have them all highly skilled to work in these industries, because people enjoy working for innovators that have a plan and they want to be a part of something good. And that's certainly what's going to happen with Anduril in Ohio and Intel in Ohio and many others to come. If the workers aren't in Ohio now, they'll be coming so they can be a part of these great affiliations, and it's very exciting to see. And I'm a big fan. It's great. But the secret to the success is that the cost plus structure is coming to an end. It has to. It's going to come to an end on many fronts, whether it's the defense industry, space, general manufacturing practices. All of it is going to be changed and restructured, and those who succeed and thrive are those who embrace it. Those who fail are those who try to hold on to the old structure, because they're going to get run over by these fast-moving companies that have very compressed timelines and don't put up with a lot of bureaucratic nonsense. And that's certainly going to be the case with Anduril and their impact into the defense industry and how they're going to thrive under the Trump administration in Ohio. And that's wonderful to see. Glad to see it. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe. Make tomorrow a better day. If you ever read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. Anyway, have a good day. See you later.